These two books have been on my TBR for the past like 4 months and I still haven't read them, but this is the month. I can feel it. I need to read them this month. Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I'm going to be filming my July TBR. I filmed an April TBR I think, and I don't think I stuck to it like at all, but I thought I'd film one for July because I have a lot of books that I want to read this month and I'm really excited to read a lot of them. So yeah, so hopefully I can read a lot of these books, and yeah, without further ado, let's just go ahead and get into all the books that I want to read in the month of July. Let's start off with the books that I want to read on my Kindle this month. Firstly, Binding 13. I don't remember who the author is, but I've heard so many good things about this book. I believe there's another book as well that follows the same couple. It's called Keeping 13, and I want to read this on my Kindle because it's like 600 pages and I just feel like I can read it faster on my Kindle, and it's like less intimidating because I can't see, you know, the physical amount of pages. But I believe this is about a football player, and I don't really know much about it. I've just read a bunch of scenes like on TikTok and stuff, and they've captured my attention, like quotes and things from it. Just sounds so good. There's this one scene where he's like in the hospital or something and she's there, and like it's like really cute that I saw, and I'm like, oh my god, I need to read it. I've heard so many good things, and apparently they're like soulmates, like everything. I don't even know what the tropes are except that he's a football player. It might be friends to lovers. I could be wrong. I'm not sure, but I'm really excited to read this one. Unfortunately, it's not on Kindle Unlimited, so I'm gonna have to buy it, but that's okay. And then the next book that I want to read is Twisted Lies by Anna Huang. This just came out a couple of days ago. It's the last book in the Twisted series. You guys know I love the Twisted series. Twisted Love, Twisted Games, and Twisted Hate. The first 3 books, and Twisted Games is like my favorite, but Christian just seems to be hitting different for everyone, so I'm so excited to read this one. It is fake dating, roommates, forced proximity, boy obsessed, and I literally cannot wait to read it. Plus the cover is literally stunning, like the green, the butterflies, like everything, and Stella just gives off that energy that I just love. Like she seems very similar to me and I like that, and I just love Christian, like from what we've seen so far. And the last book that I want to read on my Kindle this month is Beauty and the Baller by Isla Madam Mills. I haven't read an Isla Madam Mills book in literally ages. You guys know Dear Ava and The Revenge Pack are 2 of my favorite books. They're by her and I love those books, and so I really want to read this one. I believe this is her latest release, could be wrong. It's about a ex-football player. He used to play in the NFL and then he got injured or something, and so now he's a football coach, and she is like an beauty pageant queen, and she moves back home because her sister, I think her mum passed away, and her sister, like she needs to look after her sister, and her sister goes to the high school where he teaches, and I think it's enemies to lovers. I think they have a one-night stand and it's like goes terribly wrong, and so then they like meet again a couple years later, and she's like, oh my god, like that's the guy that I had the bad one night stand with, but I don't think he remembers, and like yeah, he's the football coach at the school. I think it's enemies to lovers, not too sure. And then, oh, I lied, there is one more book that I want to read on my Kindle that I completely forgot about, which is Broken Boys Can't Love by Michaela Smeltzer. This book comes out later this month. It is the last book in the Boys series. You guys know I love all the other books: Bad Boys Break Hearts, Nice Guys Don't Win, Real Players Never Lose, Good Guys Don't Lie, and then Broken Boys Can't Love. I've been anticipating this book for ages. It's brother's best friend, and ever since we met the main guy, I can't remember his name, we met him in I think the 3rd book, and I like loved his character, so I'm really excited to see his book. He's obviously been through a big heartbreak. I think it was his high school sweetheart. Like they were like ready to get married and then something went wrong and they broke up, and then he lives with Cree, who is one of his best friends and roommate, and then Cree's sister moves in with them and he falls for the sister. I think she's like a virgin and she wants him to like help her get more confident, and yeah, something like that. And I'm really excited because I love this series and I cannot wait to read this book. Like it's gonna be so good, like I just know. So yeah, that is the last book that I want to read on my Kindle this month. Moving on to the physical books that I want to read this month. The first one is Counting Down With You by Tashi. I'm not even going to try to say her last name, I don't know. I have been wanting to read this book for ages. It was hyped up on Book Talk, and I just can't wait to read it. And then my friend Nasa, I don't know if you're watching this, but we're gonna buddy read it together, so when she finishes it, it ends with us. If you're watching this, Nasa, read it faster. because I need to talk about it with you. And we're gonna read this together. She's rereading it because she loves it, and then I'm gonna read it for the first time because she said it's really, really good. And I believe it's Bad Boy Good Girl. You can't go wrong with a good bad boy good girl moment. I think it's YA as well, and it's fake dating. Her parents like go away for, I think it's 28 days or something, and she has like 28 days to like basically go crazy because her parents are super strict or something like that. And so yeah, but apparently he's really, really sweet. Like he does a bunch of amazing things for her, and like she starts tutoring him, I think, but he doesn't want anyone to know that she's tutoring him, so he's like, let's pretend to date instead or something like that. I don't know, but I'm really excited. Like I just love a good fluffy YA book. I feel like you can't go wrong. Like they're just fun and easy to read and just like put you in like a good mood, so I cannot wait to read this one. The next book that I want to read this month is The Infinity Between Us by N.S. Perkins. This is her second book. I read A Risk Gone Forever, her debut novel, a couple months ago. I loved it, and this is her second book. The covers of these books are so stunning. Like look how pretty this is. This is childhood friends to lovers to strangers to lovers, and that's like one of my favorite tropes ever. So they're like besties when they were younger. I think they spend summers together, very love in other words energy, and then like slowly that turns into more, and then something happens and everything goes wrong, and they meet years in the future, and they're kind of like rekindling that love, that friendship, and you're like, oh, I think it's told in past and present timelines, so you're building up to what happened in the past, and I'm very excited to read this one. It's also pretty short, so it should be a quick read. I think this is going to be my next read after I finish the book that I'm currently reading, but I'm really excited to read this because I've heard some really, really good things. The next book that I want to read this month is something that has been on my TBR for ages, but it's third person, so I was super hesitant, but then I read my first third person book and I really want to read this, plus it's becoming a movie, and if you haven't guessed what the book is already, it's Red, White and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. I bought this book ages ago and I just haven't picked it up because I didn't realize it was in third person when I bought it, and so I didn't really want to read it. But ever since I read my first third person book, I feel like I can do it. Plus it's becoming a movie, and the casting, perfection. Even though I haven't read the book yet, I already know these characters are perfect for the characters in the book. They just like, I don't know, plus both of them are really hot, so like I'm just really excited for the movie, and so I want to read this obviously before the movie comes out, but I want to read it this month, hopefully. So basically the first son of the United States and the Prince of Wales hate each other. They have to go on these friend dates to make it look like they're best friends, because it looks bad, you know, for their countries and stuff if they're fighting. And it's enemies to lovers, but slowly on those friendship dates they kind of realize that maybe they don't really hate each other, and then they slowly fall for each other. And I'm super excited to read this book. Everyone raves about it, everyone says it's so good. I can't wait to read it, and I really hope I love it, because like it's been one of my most anticipated reads for like ages, and I just haven't read it yet, but I need to, so I'm very excited to read this one. The next book that I want to read this month is Set on You by Amy Lee. This came out last month, I believe, and I pre-ordered it and it came in the mail, and I haven't read it yet, but I really want to. It sounds phenomenal and I've heard amazing things. I believe it is, I think it's enemies to lovers, could be wrong. She's a fitness influencer and he's a firefighter, and they meet at the gym, I think, and it's like enemies to lovers. I think it's slow burn as well, but I'm super excited to read this. Really excited, plus the cover is so freaking cute. Like hello, I love a good cartoon cover, and yeah, I can't wait to read this one. Very excited. And we can't go a month without reading a Colleen Hoover book, so the Colleen Hoover book that I want to read this month is Layla. This is one of her more interesting books. It is a paranormal thriller romance, kind of like Verity vibes, but like paranormal. I believe, I honestly know nothing about this book except that it's told in the guy's perspective. Like it's all told in the guy's perspective, which is super interesting. I don't think I've ever read a book like that unless it was like a sequel type of thing where they wrote a whole book in the guy's point of view, because the first book was in the girl's point of view. So I'm very interested to read this. I think the love interest is like a ghost or something. Honestly, I don't really know anything about it, but it's best to go in blind with Colleen Hoover book, as you guys will probably know, but I feel like I'm gonna love it. Like it's Colleen Hoover, I feel like she can do no wrong, and I'm excited to read this one because it's very different from some of her other books. The next book that I want to read this month is the sixth book, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, is the 7th book in the Addicted/Callaway Sisters series, Addicted After All, Lillian Lowe's last book. I have put off reading this for like a month and a bit, ever since I read Thrive, because I'm scared to finish Lillian Lowe's story. Like, obviously I know we have Some Kind of Perfect and we'll see them in Fuel the Fire and Long Way Down, but like this is their last like official book and I just like don't know if I'm ready, because I love Lillian Lowe. I love Lilo and I'm not ready for like their story, I guess, to be over happening, but I'm super excited to dive back into this series because I've missed them. They're my comfort characters and I cannot wait to read this one. This is one I definitely want to read. It's like priority TBR this month. And the last 2 books that I want to read this month are the last 2 books in a series, and that is The Bride Test and The Heart Principle, both by Helen Hong. I read The Kiss Quotient a couple of months ago and I loved it. It was my first third-person book and I fell in love with Michael and Stella. I loved it. The autism rep is amazing. I just love Stella's character. She is such like a sweetheart and we love Michael. He is the best. And so these 2 books are the next 2 books in the series, which this follows Michael's cousins, the first book, but these 2 are brothers. So The Bride Test is about Kai, I think his name is, and I think it's like an arranged marriage type of thing, marriage of convenience type of thing, and he has autism. And you see him in the first book and you kind of see how like socially awkward he is and like he's not very in touch with his emotions, like he doesn't really realize like what he's feeling and like how that's like how that's gonna go when he's falling in love will be super interesting. But apparently this is Larissa, or Larry Reads on YouTube and Book Talk, her favorite book in the series, and Kai's her favorite guy, so I'm super excited to read this one. And yeah, I don't really love the arranged marriage trope, but I feel like it won't be that bad. I don't think it's an arranged marriage. I think his parents are trying to find him like a bride, but it's not like, I don't really know, but I'm excited to read it. And it's in 3rd person. But The Heart Principle is written in 1st person, so I'm excited to read this one. This one is about Kwan, who is Michael's like best friend. It's his cousin, but like they're like best friends and you see him quite a lot in the first book, and I believe they have like a one-night stand or something and like that turns into more. I'm not really sure. I'm excited to read these, plus the smut in all these books are phenomenal. I'm just gonna say it now. But yeah, I hate that these 2 books are bigger than The Kiss Quotient. It's very annoying on my bookshelf, but what can you do? These, because they're like new releases in Australia, they come out in this size first and then they will release them in the smaller regular paperback size later. Don't know why they do it. Super annoying and kind of dumb, but anyway, that's why they're this size and I hate it, but it's fine. Those are the last 2 books that I want to read this month. These 2 books have been on my TBR for the past like 4 months and I still haven't read them, but this is the month. I can feel it. I need to read them this month. I need to. I'll read them eventually. And that is all the books that I want to read in the month of July. I cannot wait to read some of these books. Let's hope I can get through majority of them and we don't steer too far away from the TBR, because I feel like I never stick to my TBRs, but it is what it is. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to give it a thumbs up if you did. Subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.